What do you think about the famous calories in, calories out? Because
It's nonsense. Calories have nothing whatsoever to do with metabolic process. Calories, by their definition, by the very way they are measured, by the way they are manifest in our objective reality, calories are a specific form of the construct known as energy. In this case, a calorie is a measurement of heat energy, kinetic energy. A calorie does not exist until it is released to entropy. It is brought into being the instant it is created. And the way to create it is to rapidly oxidize, burn a substance of food in a bomb calorimeter, thus releasing heat to entropy, which then strikes the walls of the bomb calorimeter, excites those and causes them to heat up, and then that interacts with a bath of water that the whole thing's in and heats the water up. And a calorie is that amount of kinetic energy which will heat 1 gram of water by 1 degree C from 20 to 21 at normal barometric pressure. Calories have nothing whatsoever to do with metabolic process. Nothing at all. The form of energy that the metabolic system runs on is potential energy, chemical potential energy in this case, and that is a form of energy which is manifest in terms of the relationship in space-time between one thing and another thing, not its movement. Because movement is heat energy, potential energy is positional energy.
So does it have anything to do with weight gain or weight loss?
Correct. Because a calorie is manifest in our objective reality as an excitation or a number of excitations of the electromagnetic field. Photons. Photons have no rest mass. 0. What does that mean? Well, when I went to school, any number you like, plus or minus any number of zeros, remains unchanged, doesn't it? We're done with calories. They've got nothing to do with weight gain or loss, nothing whatsoever. The only way to lose weight or to gain weight is to lose or gain mass. Things that do have a rest mass, things that do interact with the Higgs field, and a photon is not one of those things.
So some people, when they start eating more mass, like more food in general, they start losing weight.
Yes.
Why does that happen?
Well, it happens because your body responds to the makeup of the mass that you're taking in hormonally in such a way as to set your metabolism up to either gain or to offload mass. Most of us are so used to using the term calories to refer to so-called energy in food that we cannot conceive of the fact that fundamentally that's an error. That's a misrepresentation of the objective reality in which we find ourselves. That does not stand up from first principles. And when I give this argument, even to so-called sophisticated so-called scientists, they end up falling over their tongues. People with PhDs, they can't cope with it. And the best they can come up with is, well, energy is fungible, meaning it can change from one form to another. So there is an equivalency mathematically between a caloric measurement of energy and, let's say, a potential measurement of energy. Yes, there is a mathematical interconversion possible. However, to convert one form of energy to another form of energy, you need a piece of machinery or a piece of kit to do it. Does the human body have that piece of kit that can encapsulate heat energy and use that for metabolic process? No, it doesn't. If it did, we could just sit in the sun.
That's
we wouldn't need food. We do need food. We can't sit in the sun and survive. We're done. Yes, you can convert a calorie to, let's say, a kilojoule, or let's say its equivalence in terms of ATP in the human. Yes, you can mathematically do that. with an error, of course, because it's not going to be 100% accurate. Nonetheless, that's hypothetical. It's like I live in New Zealand, if you didn't know. One of those is of no value to me here whatsoever. I cannot go to the shop, put this on the counter and say, my good man, I want a bottle of sugar water. Number one, because I'm not so stupid as to ask for sugar water. And number two, because they'll say that's not legal currency here. Go to the bank and change it. They've got the kit to do it. We don't. Same deal with the human body. We cannot use heat, energy for metabolic process.
So
in fact, metabolic process evolves heat as an insensible loss to entropy. But the whole idea of calories is ridiculous. It's fundamentally ridiculous.
Okay, so if someone that is eating a proper human diet, let's say a carnivore diet, eating meat and fat, ruminants or whatever, if they wanted to lose fat, what would they do? They would have to eat less mass than they require?
No, not necessarily. What a person needs to do to set their body up to metabolically place themselves in the best likelihood of getting the most ideal body composition as per their genetic makeup is to do exactly what you suggested they should do, and that is to eat a species-appropriate, species-specific diet and adhere well enough for long enough, because it's a process. It's not a magic bullet. It does work, but it takes some time because, well, you've got to overcome all the metabolic damage that you've done to yourself up to that point, including you've got to get rid of inflammation before your body will throw off the fat.
So let's say someone starts the carnivore diet and initially they lose a lot of weight and then they stop. What's happening there?
Well, a couple of things could be happening. They could be taking in more mass of food than they require.
Which the mass that they require is 2 grams of protein. Kilogram
and an amount of fat commensurate with their energy requirements, which change from day to day. That's why I say satiety is your best gauge on that.
There's an amount of protein that we require, but the amount of fat varies day to day.
Yes. I mean, your protein requirements can vary as well, but not as much as your fat requirements will because, well, for obvious reasons, I would have thought.
So if you want to lose weight, you don't have to eat less fat.
No, not necessarily. What you need to do is eat in such a way as to place your hormonal and inflammatory systems into their ideal configuration, and then the rest will follow.
How do you know that?
Well, you'll feel good, you'll have good energy, and over a period of time, you will either remain weight stable or your weight will start to drop. And when I say weight, I mean your fatness. Not weight. It's got nothing to do with your weight. Goodness me, I should smack myself around the head.
Well, we're still used to, use calories.
Exactly. It's the same as using calories. Calories and weight. No, neither of those are relevant. You see, the thing is, if my goal is to lose weight, well, I could just amputate my legs, couldn't I?
Yeah.
Then the job's good and I don't need the weight. There's no struggling with diet or disciplining myself. Just cut your legs off. Job's done. I weigh less. That's awesome. It's not awesome though, is it?
No.
It's not awesome at all.
So one question I had that now it doesn't make any sense anymore, because I was going to ask you, people when they fast for multiple days, or even if they have only one meal a day, they usually eat less than they would eat if they had 3 meals a day every day. So that technically puts them in a calorie deficit.
No.
No.
Because, you see, the thing is, you cannot consume calories. It's physically impossible. So what we're talking about is either an overplus or a deficit of so-called energetic substrates in the form of fats or carbohydrates, mostly. Sure, you can use some protein for energy if you don't have enough fats and carbohydrates. And sure, if you consume alcohol, that can be used for energy as well. Let's ignore those two. And let's say the average person is using a mixture of carbohydrates and fats for energy. The ideal situation is to use fats and not carbohydrates for energy. That's what we've been talking about for the last hour. But the average person is going to have a mixture of those things. And that's a mistake, as we've said. But nonetheless, that's what people do. So in order for you to have less fat on your body, the balance of the carbohydrates, the fats, the proteins, the water, and all the other macro and micronutrients is what's important. A lot of people talk about calories in, calories out. Well, that's nonsense. Mass in, mass out is not nonsense. That's an accurate description of what has occurred retrospectively. For a person, any given person's mass and their body composition, that's about mass in and mass out. But it still isn't a predictive sum.
People that count calories and eat less than technically what they should in terms of mass or energy, they have a reduction in their calorie output, their metabolism.
Yes. Well, yes, if you assume that the calorie is a valid measurement of anything, and if you completely ignore the physical fact that you can not consume calories, neither can you spend calories, because they have no rest mass.
What happens to their metabolism? Why do we see?
What you're suggesting is if you don't eat enough food, will your metabolism slow down in order to try and counteract that? And the answer is yes, it will. Yes.
But that doesn't happen with fasting. If you undereat in terms of mass and you're fasting, or you're fasting too much.
It can do if you do the fasting inappropriately or for too long, or a combination of doing it wrong for too long. Yes, you can mess up your metabolic rate that way.
Based on, let's say, circadian rhythms and the different hormones that we have at different times of the days, what would be the best time to eat?
When you're hungry.
One meal a day.
Pick one time of the day that's most suitable for you to eat in terms of the convenience of it. Train your body to expect food at that time. Do it for long enough, and it will.
Takes for your body.
How long is a piece of string? Everyone's a bit different as to how quickly their bodies will react to a new habit. But I found it was pretty quick for me.
So you don't feel hungry at all?
Nope.
Until your meal?
That's right, until my meal time. And then I go, oh, I'm hungry, it's meal time. Right, then I eat, then I don't feel hungry anymore until the next day. It's awesome.
Is it better to eat, for example, first in the morning, midday, or late in the evening?
Nope.
So late in the evening doesn't impact your sleep quality?
Well, it can do. If you find that it does, then eat earlier.
I see.
That's individual as well.
Okay, because I was convinced of that. You know, you should eat earlier so you have enough time for digestion. Or when the sun goes down, you're not supposed to eat anymore.
Not convinced. Not convinced. That's the thing of being, so highly trained scientifically, is anytime someone says this is best, that's best, I always say, what's your source on that? Where's the proof of that?
Yeah, so optimal would be just what's better for you.
That's right. So mess around and find out. You could phrase that slightly differently if you wanted to in your own mind, but you know what I mean.
And for a woman
that
has more estrogen or more progesterone based on the time of her 28-day cycle.
Yeah.
Fasting doesn't matter, doesn't change the hormonal profile of a woman.
I'm not convinced. I think if a person, be they female or be they male, notice there were two options there. If they eat a species-appropriate, species-specific diet, I think they'll find that everything will be optimized in times if you do it well enough for long enough.
Because also back in the day, it's not that the women were eating more often than the men. Like they had the same food availability all year round, right?